On my last video, I left you with this little concept art made in 2010 by Ikuro Yamashita, the lead designer of Rebuild of Evangelion's Evangelion units. He is part of Hideki Anno team and worked previously with him in the original run, responsible of the conception of the design of the jet alone most notable. In 2010 he worked in his concept art for Rebuild 3.0, You Cannot Redo, or Rebuild Q. This is 3 years before the movie was released. Why this concept art for Rebuild 3rd movie is so important? I will address that in a minute, but first, I want to let you know that this video is a direct follow-up to my last video in which I went over some basic differences between Rebuild's second movie and the main continuity. If you have not watched that video yet, I strongly suggest that you watch it first so you can follow the continuity of the argument. With that being said, let's begin. In this concept art we see Asuka and Mary roller coasting in the Wonder, most precisely in the Wonder's antennas. Although this seems very fun, it's irrelevant to the argument. There are two major things to highlight here, however. Number one, Asuka's eye patch is in the wrong eye. As we know that in Rebuild Q, Asuka's eye patch is on her left eye. However, worth noting that this was only a concept art of a movie in production. Therefore, it can be argued that on the way to filming, they decided to change the eye. Is this important? Well, right now, not really. But it's curious that one of the main designers of the saga made such a mistake. Nevertheless, the biggest and most noticeable element that appears in this image is this: Asuka and Mary wearing chokers. This is very important as we know that Shinji is forced to wear the DSS choker by Wily for a big part of the film. If this concept art was accepted to be true, in time skip between the second and third movie, then Wily made Mary and Asuka wear the same choker as a countermeasure of what Shinji did in the near third impact, as can be argued that any of the children could have started again. Let's take a close look at the choker that Shinji wears in Rebuild Q. From this image we can take the name. DSS stands for Deification Shutdown System, which means that whoever wears can potentially become a deity or a god, which perfectly aligns with theories arguing that Shinji has lost his humanity and now his soul is more than human. If we take into account that Yamashita's concept art, that means that Mary and Asuka also has the potential to become a deity, which could prove the theory that the 4 Adam souls are in each of the children. The second thing that we can take from this image are these rare symbols that were all around Rebuild 2 and 3, but go almost unnoticed. These symbols are known as Angel Sealing Hex Glyphs, and still we do not know exactly what they mean, but they are really important for the story somehow. Let's go over where we see them across the story. The first time they appear is in Rebuild's second movie, at the Bethany base in the South Pole, on the floor on the control room. Then they appear all over Rey's LCL tank, on the post-credit scenes of 2.0 for 3.0 preview. In the third movie they appear really early on the EVA Unit 1 container in space, on the choker itself of course when Shinji is being explained of its use, also on the new Nerf logo, and in EVA Unit 13 control screen, and again on the choker once Kaoru is wearing it inside the Evangelion unit. But most noticeable, these glyphs appear on the Angel Sealing Hex pillars and in Asuka's eye that can be seen through her eye patch glowing in blue. Let's start with the hex pillars first. These are tube-shaped devices that appear on sensitive occasions during the film narration. We can see them in the Bethany base when Mary fights the third angel. Also by the end of 2.0 when Kaoru halted the near third impact. In the third movie they appear again on Shinji's containment chamber. But probably the most interesting of these appearances are the one on Asuka's containment after the Evangelion Unit 3 incident. In my previous video I presented how we cannot be sure that Asuka is completely human after she was almost absorbed completely by the angel. According to the film argument, Asuka was infected, or possessed up to some degree, although Dr. Akagi did confirm on Reveal 2 that there was no trace of the angel in her system. However, the infection theory may explain the reason why Wily or Nerve decided to implant one of these angel sealing hex glyphs on her eye, just to keep her human enough to control her. We do not know if Asuka lost her eye completely during the accident, or Wily decided to either extract her eye and replace it, or just implant the glyph on her eye and she just keep an eye patch to hide it. The truth is that we see it glow in two occasions, when Shinji escapes Wily and when she activates Evangelion Unit 2 777 Beast Mode. We know barely nothing on the meaning of these glyphs, only other than to keep control of a supernatural entity. However, they appear to be different, and many fans have argued that it's kind of a dialect and can be read. Others say that are piano notes from Shinji and Kaoru musical sequence. Nevertheless, in either case, you have to make a lot of assumptions to make complete or quite sense. The glyphs are 100% accredited to Hideki Anno, as he already has worked with these icons in the past. In the 1990 anime, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, his second series. Anno and Sadamoto took several elements of this story for their original Evangelion TV series, such as the biblical references, Shinji's character design, the concept behind instrumentality, Shinji and Asuka relationship, and the Gendo pose. In the Reveal continuity, Anno also took inspiration from his past work, like the Wonder, Mary, and Misato and Rizuko's redesign on the third movie. So we cover Asuka, but what about Mary? Well, I don't like to talk about Mary too much because we have little to no evidence on who she is and what exactly is her role in the story. And on my previous videos I already stated that the Mary Loop theory, in which she is Asuka's mother, as she appears on the bonus chapter of Sadamoto's manga, and this fact could leave a lot of plot holes behind. So everything that I'm going to say about Mary from this point forward, you should take it with a grain of salt, as there is not so much documentation regarding her profile. Within the Reveal continuity, there is something that may point on the direction that Mary could be older than she seems on her first appearance in Reveal 2.0, 14 years before we learn from Asuka about the curse of Eva. This curse prevents aging to anyone that has been exposed for too much time to the LCL, as it explains Asuka's young appearance after 14 years in Reveal Q. In Reveal 2, Mary seems to like LCL a bit too much. Actually, she seems to be an addict of it, as when she landed on Shinji after flying into Japan, she can smell the LCL that he has been exposed to for a long time. Nevertheless, that is the only factual clue that could indicate that Mary, by the events of the third movie, is way older than Asuka is. Because her origins are still wrapped in mysteries, it is difficult to argue that she is a deity that may justify her DSS choker in the concept art, as we already stated that Shinji and potentially Asuka are, as they have both been exposed to Angel's core. Shinji to Eva Unit 1, and Asuka to the 9th Angel. However, there is in fact something about Mary that we would not know for sure until 3+1 is released, so we have to pay close attention to her role on that movie. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. I am currently working on a set of videos regarding Reveal of Evangelion, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, consider doing so. Also like the video if you did, and as always I wish you all a wonderful day.